Have you ever noticed how anxiety can appear out of nowhere? One second you're fine, and the next, your heart is racing, your thoughts are spinning, and it feels like your mind has completely taken over. What if I told you there's a simple trick that takes just 20 seconds and can help interrupt that anxious spiral before it grows stronger? It sounds too simple to work, but that's exactly why so many people ignore it. Today, you're going to learn this powerful 20-second technique, why it works, how to use it anywhere, and how it can help you feel calmer in moments that normally feel overwhelming. And make sure you stay until the end, because the last habit could completely change the way you deal with anxiety. Most people skip it, and that's exactly why they stay trapped in the same cycle. If you miss it, you'll miss one of the easiest ways to keep anxiety from coming back. Let's begin. Imagine this. You're about to give a presentation. Your phone rings with unexpected news. Or maybe you're simply lying in bed when suddenly your brain decides it's the perfect time to replay every embarrassing moment from the last 10 years. Your breathing gets faster. Your chest feels tight. Your hands become cold. Within seconds, anxiety convinces you that something terrible is about to happen. But here's something most people never realize. Anxiety isn't always caused by what's happening around you. It's often caused by what your brain thinks is happening. Your mind sounds the alarm, even when there isn't a real emergency. The good news? You don't have to fight your thoughts. You don't have to force yourself to just relax. Instead, you can gently interrupt the cycle. And that's where the 20-second trick comes in. The trick is incredibly simple. Pause. Take one slow breath in through your nose. As you inhale, silently count 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold that breath for just 2 seconds. Then slowly breathe out through your mouth while counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. The entire process takes about 20 seconds. Simple. But don't mistake simple for ineffective. Here's why it works. When anxiety appears, your body switches into survival mode. Your heart beats faster, your muscles tighten, your breathing becomes quick and shallow. Your brain believes you're in danger, but slow breathing sends the opposite message. It quietly tells your nervous system, we're safe. As your breathing slows down, your heartbeat begins slowing too. Your muscles start relaxing. Your mind gradually becomes less chaotic. You haven't solved every problem in your life, but you've stopped anxiety from taking complete control. Think of anxiety like a speeding train. Most people try to stop it by standing on the tracks. That never works. This breathing trick doesn't stop the train instantly. Instead, it gently pulls the brakes. And even slowing the train a little can completely change where it ends up. Let me tell you a quick story. A university student was preparing for one of the biggest exams of her life. Minutes before entering the classroom, panic hit. Her hands shook. She couldn't remember anything she'd studied. She wanted to leave. Instead of running away, she remembered one simple breathing exercise she'd learned. She closed her eyes, one slow breath, held it briefly, then slowly exhaled. She repeated it just 3 times. Less than a minute later, she wasn't perfectly calm, but she was calm enough to walk into the exam. And that's the goal, not perfection, progress. Because courage doesn't mean you never feel anxious. It means anxiety doesn't get to make your decisions anymore. Here's something important. Many people expect one breathing exercise to erase years of stress. That's not how it works. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't brush once and expect clean teeth forever. You do it regularly. Calming your mind works the same way. The more often you practice when you're already calm, the easier it becomes when anxiety suddenly appears. That's why athletes train before competitions. Pilots practice before emergencies. Firefighters rehearse before fires. Preparation creates confidence. You can do exactly the same thing with your mind. Practice this 20-second trick every morning. Practice before meetings. Practice before difficult conversations. Practice before sleep. The more familiar it becomes, the faster your brain remembers how to calm down. Now here's another powerful secret. The moment anxiety appears, stop asking, how do I make this feeling disappear? Instead ask, what does my body need right now? Maybe it needs slower breathing. Maybe it needs water. Maybe it needs fresh air. Maybe it needs a short walk. This tiny shift changes everything. Instead of fighting yourself, you begin helping yourself. And that alone can reduce anxiety's power. Another mistake people make is believing anxiety is a sign of weakness. It isn't. Even successful athletes, business leaders, actors, doctors, and musicians experience anxiety. The difference is they don't let anxiety write the rest of the story. They acknowledge it, calm themselves, and keep moving forward. You can do exactly the same. Imagine two people standing before the same challenge. Both feel anxious. One panics and quits. The other pauses for 20 seconds, slows their breathing, regains control, and keeps going. The difference isn't talent. The difference is response. And that's something anyone can learn, including you. Now let's talk about the habit I promised at the beginning. This is the one most people ignore. Every night before going to sleep, write down 3 things that went right today. They don't have to be big. Maybe you finished your work. Maybe you smiled at someone. Maybe you simply got out of bed on a difficult day. Why does this matter? Because anxious brains naturally search for danger. When you intentionally notice what's going well, you slowly train your brain to look for safety instead of threats. Over time, this simple habit changes the way you think. It won't happen overnight, but day by day, your mind becomes less focused on fear and more focused on possibility. Never underestimate small actions repeated consistently. Tiny habits create massive change. So here's your challenge. The next time anxiety appears, don't immediately reach for your phone. Don't panic. Don't tell yourself you're broken. Instead, pause. Take that slow 20-second breath. Remind yourself that feelings come and go. You don't have to obey every anxious thought. You only need to stay present for the next breath, then the next, and the next. Little by little,